Hello everyone. Today I will be teaching you how to solve the 3x3x2 using the Roux method. Now my slight disclaimer before going into this is that if you do not know how to solve this puzzle already, or you are just a beginner looking to solve it once, then this is not the tutorial for you. You should already know how to solve this puzzle or have a basic understanding of how it works. And also, while you don't need to use the Roux method as your main method going into this, it would greatly help if you had a basic understanding of how the 4 steps work. Without further ado, you can scramble up your puzzle if you haven't yet. So the first step is first block, and this is an extremely easy step, and you can do it in a few moves from almost any state. Here I just did it right here. You're just going to build an edge with 2 corners attached to it. And if you think of the first block on a 3x3, it looks like this. But this cube is the same thing as a 3x3, except it's missing the middle layer. So if we just take the middle layer out of the equation, our block looks like this. So that's kind of where you can get that image of what your block needs to look like on this puzzle. So here I've built my block. Very easy, very quick step. You should be able to do it on your own. The next step you should also be able to do on your own, because it's pretty simple, is the second block. We're going to make this same bar on this side right here. So I have my blue in the back. Oops, that didn't work. So here we go. So I solved my second block, and you can see it's almost pretty much identical, except it's just the blue instead of the green. So these are 2 very simple steps that you should be able to figure out on your own. Really just very, very easy. So when it comes to CMLL, our orientation is already done. So we only need at the max 2 algorithms. And that would be an adjacent swap or a diagonal swap. Now, when solving this puzzle, I find that you really only get the diagonal swap like 5% of the time. Very, very rare. So there's really no point to learning it unless you want to get like very fast. You will need to learn the adjacent swap algorithm though. And if you do get the diagonal swap, you can solve it using 2 adjacent swaps. So anyway, I'll show you the algorithm and it'll be at the top of the screen right here. It goes R2, U, R2, D prime, R2, U, R2, U prime, R2, F2. And then your blocks will get moved, so you just have to do a rotation like this or like this to get back to the original state of your block being on the left and the right. So let's say that you did indeed get the diagonal swap case, then simply do that algorithm I just showed you from any position. And then you will get a case where you can do a diagonal swap, so just put them to the right and do this. And then if you do get the diagonal case, just keep in mind that you don't have to rotate your cube in between algorithms. You can just do it twice, and those rotations will eventually get your blocks back to a good position. So next for the LSE, this is like the hardest and most complicated step. What we need to do is we obviously need to get our UR edge and our UL edge on the same layer. So what you're going to do is put them diagonally across from each other in the M layer, just like you would when solving with regular Roux. So I'll do this. So now I have my yellow-blue here and my yellow-green here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an F2. So if I do an F2, it'll bring these 2 pieces so they're across from each other and in the same layer. But I did break my block pieces. So what we have to do next is I'm going to put them in the bottom layer so they're preserved. And then I'm going to move these block pieces over like this to open up this slot. And then I'm going to put those pieces back in with another M2. Then I can undo my U move and redo my F move like this. And then they are now in the same layer and can be solved how you regularly would solve them on a 3x3. So I'll just show one more example. So here's my 2 pieces I need. I'll put this one, M2, to go in the back. And then this one's in the front. So I'll do an F2, and now they're in the same layer, except I don't have to put them in the bottom layer because they already are. So I can go ahead and move the U layer over, put them up top, undo my U move, and then undo my F2. And now they are in the same layer and can be solved how they usually would during LSE. So before I move on to the last step, you're going to need to learn mini algorithm, should we say. That's because it's really easy. It's just R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2. Very easy memorization. Just do R2, U2 3 times. And you'll see that this swapped these two edges across from each other. Now, it's actually kind of cool to see if you do this on a 3x3. If I did R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2, it actually did switch those same two edges, but it also switched these edges, except keep in mind that on this puzzle, the middle layer is non-existent, so it just doesn't even matter, and it'll only switch these two edges, which is very convenient. And this basic idea of this algorithm, switching these two edges, is kind of gonna, this is basically how we're gonna solve the rest of the puzzle. So we're gonna kind of do this how you would solve a 3x3 blindfolded. Now, if you can't solve a 3x3 blindfolded, that's completely okay. It's just an analogy to get you thinking about it. So here we are. I've got first block, second block, CMLL, and these two edges solved. And now we just need to solve the rest. So let's look at this piece. This piece needs to go right here in order to solve it. So I know that if I perform that R2, U2 algorithm, this piece will get swapped from here to here. So what I need to do is I need to bring up this. This is the spot where it needs to go. I need to put this up here. And I'm going to do that by doing a D2 and then a B2. So let me just show you that. So this is the yellow-red piece, and I do that. And now the yellow-red is across from this piece, and this piece needs to go right here. So when I do this algorithm, I've now swapped the yellow-red and the white-orange piece. And all I have to do now is undo those moves. And you can see that I have now successfully put this white-orange piece where it needs to go. And then all I have to do left is simply swap these two edges like this, using that algorithm again. And then the puzzle is solved. So I may have gone kind of fast through that, but I'm going to do a few more examples so you can kind of get the hang of it. This is a case where you might want to just do like a switching algorithm here and then a switching algorithm here, but don't do that. Just do M2, U2, M2, U2. That's one of the cases that is easy to solve. The other case that's easy to solve is M2, F2, M2. So if you have a case that looks like this or a case that looks like this, just do M2 or F2, M2, F2 to solve it. So those are two cases that you do not need to use any flipping algorithms for. So let's look at this case here. Again, I need to put my white-orange into the white-orange spot, which will be right here. Now, I guess technically we could call this the white-orange spot, like right here, except what you kind of want to do is you want to get all the whites and all the yellows in the same layer before actually like placing them in the correct spot. So I will need to do like the flipping algorithm afterward, but that's okay. So this is the slot it needs to go in, and I can just do a B2 to bring that up. So now I'm going to do my algorithm, 1, 2, 3, and then I can undo that B2 like this. And now I have put that where it needs to go. I can do a rotation, or I could be fancy and just do R2D2, R2D2, if I just want to, be cool like that. So this piece needs to go here. So instead I'll do an F2, and then I switch it, undo the F2 move, and then I just have this case left. So that's it. That's it for the entire solve. Those are all the steps. I'm going to do one example solve, and then that's it for me. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments if I missed something or I didn't clarify something enough, and I'll be happy to answer them. So I'm going to scramble this up and do an example solve. So here I see this nice little chunk. So my first block is going to be white-red, and here's the piece. So I'm just going to do U2, B2 to solve my first block. And then for second block, I'm going to move this up here, and then I see this piece here, so I'm actually going to move it into the back, bring that up to solve, and then I'm going to move this over so I don't break it. So actually I'm going to do a double move, bring this up, bring it over, put it down into the bottom layer, move this over, bring that up into the top layer, and now I've solved my second block, so I can simply put it down where it needs to go. Then I actually got a CMLL skip, but that doesn't really matter because that's just an algorithm. So next I see this piece and this piece are the UL-UR edges. So I'm going to put that in the back, and I'm going to do an F2. Then I'm going to put these two pieces in the bottom layer, move the top layer over, put them back up into the top layer over again, undo that F2 move to solve our blocks again, and then I can solve these like I would regularly do on 3x3. Next I see this white blue piece, and the slot is right here. So I'm going to do a B2 to bring it up, and then do that switching algorithm, undo my B2, and I just have one switching algorithm left to go, and then we're done. So thank you for watching. Please ask questions in the comments, and I hope some of you found this interesting. Yeah, so that's it. Goodbye. Well, okay, so I set up my camera to see if I could get some good solves, for the end of this video, and the first solve I do is a PB. What do you know? Alright. There's the scramble if you want to try it out.